In a queue, you reach to the station, they will ask you to go back. You should not cast your vote here. Everything was mixed up. And even some of us, we even decided to go home not to vote. Because you imagine you were here before 7 o'clock, as early as 6:30.
Amidst the complaints, I asked the senior IEC Assistant Returning Officer for the region. He gave me assurance that the situation would soon be under control.
So I'm sure as time goes on, they will be more conversant with the process. Yeah, just at this, the morning, it's a rush. They are all coming, out to vote en masse, and there is this, they are just, but I'm sure, as time goes on, the problem will be solved.
In Brikamaba, turnout was impressive too. I caught up with a local election observer from the National Youth Parliament.
The poll started right at 7 and the turnout is good, and I have a good impression that it's going fair and free.
After brief stops at Sololo and Boraba, we drove to Janjambure for a final overview of election proceedings.
As early as 6 o'clock, we had long queues already in many polling stations, especially in the area that we visited. Of course, there are other areas we could not visit, but the feedback we got from them was also similar, that there are a lot of voters in the queue. They are still trying to cast their vote. So I'm sure the same momentum will be maintained throughout the day.
Our next points of visit were the north side of CRR, with focus on Balangar, Kirnderi and Kirulde, the native villages of Governor Gani Toure and presidential aspirant Hamad Nkeba. I caught up with them after they exercised their franchise.
The message we have been giving to the people that on this very day, let them cast their votes and go home and wait for the results. When the results are announced also, we want to maintain peace. Peace is the cornerstone of everything, and we want to make sure that there is peace and stability in the region. There won't be any chaos.
Well, so far we've not got any report of any incident since morning, and we believe that it's been a very smooth voting day, and I hope that it continues up to 4 o'clock. We have not received any report of any incident as far as the voting process is concerned.
Polls in CRR were generally free of chaos. The total number of registered voters has reduced by a few thousands compared to 2006, but the 56.8% voter turnout is expected to be surpassed this year. Modula Minsise, GRTS News.
The Office of the President and the APRC Bureau inform all APRC militants and supporters as well as the general public that victory celebrations will continue till Sunday. There will be enough food, drinks and transportation, and the program will commence at 4 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Time now to take our first break. We'll be right back.
Dear customer, have you registered your SIM card? If not, what are you waiting for? Registration gives you the greatest certainty and security of what you own, and it is mandatory from the government of the Gambia for all subscribers to register now. SIM card registration must be done in person, and it is free of charge and very easy for all subscribers. Rush now to all Gamtel outlets with your passport or your ID card, voter's card, birth certificate, Sefo Alcala certificate, or residence permit. Register your Gamtel SIM card today to avoid disconnection.
Welcome back. Anti-government groups are calling them last chance protests after nearly a week of demonstrations and violence on the streets of Egypt. Activists are promising to crank up their actions to another level. They are demanding an immediate transition of power from the military to civilians, a call now echoed by the White House. CNN has more.
Trouble hearing you, Manita, but we're here in Tahrir Square where they just held Friday prayers. A show of force, one could say, to the authorities here, to the military regime, and just days before the country's supposed to go to the polls in the first phase of parliamentary elections. It's notable that the former International Atomic Energy Agency chief, Mohammed Baradei, was here praying alongside the other demonstrators here, trying to show solidarity with them, because many of the established political parties in Egypt have not joined in. Notably, the Muslim Brotherhood has held out. It has not joined in to this protest movement. It is holding its own rally In another part of Cairo today, it's calling it Victory in Jerusalem Day, trying to show basically its ambitions beyond Egypt, and that is going to be attended by a prominent Islamist cleric, Sheikh Kadrawi, who is expected to arrive here from overseas today to address a crowd, and he has a prominent following here. It's very interesting to see among the crowd here, you will see a large number of staunch liberals. You will see also secular liberals. You'll also see football fans from the Ultra Football Club, which played a big role in battling the police, the riot police, during days of bloody street battles here, and also representatives of the more radical Salafi Islamist groups, all side by side here, but not the more moderate and very well established and very well organized Muslim Brotherhood, who are believed and expected to do quite well in Monday's parliamentary elections.
The Syrian government is facing criticism from the international community over the way it is cracking down on dissidents in the country. The Arab League has threatened to further tighten the noose around the regime. The authorities, meanwhile, are overwhelmingly denying a crackdown. Well, time now to take another break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The Office of the President and the APRC Bureau inform all party militants and supporters as well as the general public that victory celebrations will continue till Sunday. There will be enough food, drinks and transportation, and the program will commence at 4 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Before we go, we take a look at the headlines. Gambians have renewed their contract with Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya Jammeh by giving him 72% of all the votes cast in the November 24th presidential election. Jubilant supporters of the Alliance for Patriotic Reorientation and Construction have thronged the July 22nd square to celebrate Professor Jammeh's landslide victory. The Arab League is threatening to continue piling the pressure on demonstrators, but the Bashar al-Assad regime is denying suggestions it is prosecuting pro-democracy activists. And anti-government protesters in Egypt are making what they dub the final push to get rid of the ruling military junta despite offers of early elections. You can follow that story and other GRTS programs live on our website, and that's www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor GRTS Radio live. That brings us to the end of this edition of the news. Thank you very much for your time and have a very happy celebrations.
A thought. One of the most basic human reactions. A thought of making a connection, whether it's for business, a necessity, or simply a connection to your loved ones. FIG Bureau de Change is here to make that connection happen. And now, with our new banking hall on Caraba Avenue, sending and receiving money is made even more easier. FIG Bureau de Change, the Gambia's leading MoneyGram agent, with over 40 branches in 28 locations nationwide.
Reliance Financial Services ining Money Express aning ria wole kodikio sone andalia alsalla kodo kino wale sambalaro kiyeran kabolan dunia karo mumela satel mulu ko Senegal aning Africa Banku Tomal America aning Banku Kotengol dunia ko Reliance Financial Services ye male faile doku nyato wole yatina ye kodikio aning sambalaro sone ani customer sole miribe doku wala janga aning banko e bantala pour kila dimbayal dañini
ndele muy sal si sokoti ngalu kumandi Reliance Bank